What's up? Greetings, salutations, hi. Welcome back to the channel. I am T. I am your host. We're back out in the garage. We are ready to dig back into the Dart. When we last left you, we were taking a tank out, pulling rotten fuel lines, kind of game planning next steps. Some stuff came in the mail. I spent some time on Amazon. Found me a new pickup tube. We'll see just how nice it turns out to be. This has probably been the most expensive expenditure to this point in the Dart project. I think this was 49 bucks to buy this assembly here. I found a filler neck to tank gasket. That was pretty cheap. That was like 9 bucks. 5 or 6 bucks for this Wix fuel filter that I'm going to add inline in the engine compartment. Some 5/8 metal fuel line to replace the bad section. So I've got a little bit of my work cut out for me here. Got the Dart a little bit low right now so I can reach the brakes. So the tank has been soaking in vinegar and baking soda to try and remove some of the light scaly stuff that was in there in spots. The bottom of the tank wasn't too bad at all because it did have some gas in it that wasn't as nasty as it could have been. But we're going to get that rinsed out, get the new pickup, filler tube, filter, sock, etc. and the new filler neck gasket in there. And then hopefully we can dig into these brakes. Try and shine a little light onto the subject. These drums were really on there. I've definitely seen worse as far as the shoes go, but not completely worn down. So my bigger fear is the wheel cylinder and all the rusty action that seems to be going on here. But a lot of rusty action, and that's what we have to go through. Make sure that all these components are going to be okay to reuse. And Kuda's back. She wants to help, I guess, or at least wants to be here. What's up, kitty? This side I don't think looks as bad as the other. Let's go over there and check that out. I guess they're about 6s. So we're going to get this disassembled. We're going to clean things out. I did manage to get the bleeder screws to turn freely with a little bit of our good buddy there, PB Blaster. All right. Unless you've done a million of these, you definitely want to take a picture, make sure you get everything back in its right position. Lots of little components, springs, cables, and otherwise that are definitely a puzzle piece. Just a little tip if you're just getting started doing this kind of stuff. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. This is the adjuster. Still spins, that's good. It's on the drum brakes. When I'm taking the shoes off, there's a pin that holds this spring together, and this is what keeps the pad into the backing plate so it doesn't move. See a little bit of a look at the pin there. Drop stuff and knock everything around. So now we'll have to find out what we're missing. That's fun as well. Looks like I'm missing the spring, the left side. The spring that holds the shoe on. So we're trying to line a little groove up in this washer. And it might take you a couple of shots to get it, but you'll know when you do. So you want to have a little pressure on it so it doesn't escape or fly out. It's probably going to get a little bit messy, but I will be doing a little bit of rust removal on the backing plate here. Try and clean things up that way. They look a little bit better than I thought at first glance, so I guess that's good. What I've done is tried to clean everything up, get rid of a lot of rust, wire wheeled a few things, definitely greased up the adjuster, put a little anti-seize in the threads there, and just cleaned up things as best I could. We're going to put the other side back together as well and basically try to bleed the brakes. I think my next goal is to see if the master cylinder is okay, or if there's a leak somewhere in the system, because you may recall the master cylinder was half empty, or for you optimists, it was half full. So I'm going to get everything put back together, make it functional, so I can get this jack out of the way. I'd like to get the gas tank put back in it here shortly as well. Did I find that sweet spot? Well, I think so. So there's not really a lot of side-to-side movement. And I can get the drum back off, which was not the case before. Alright, got the filler neck out. In case you're wondering on this, there are 4 screws that hold the top of the neck in the side of the quarter panel up there. Same kind of a deal. Screws that go through the gasket that hold this to the trunk floor. And then you see the vent. And then this end goes into the tank from the top. So on the new Delio, these lock rings are typically thinner than the factory. And that usually, this new one, when you install that, guess what? Doesn't put enough pressure on the gasket. You may end up with a leak. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one out, and I'm going to install the original when I put the new pickup inside the tank. So we have our gasket installed. We're going to fit this puzzle piece inside the tank. And we're going to attempt to install the old lock ring in place. So get that by hand to a point where it's tight, really, tight-ish. Then you're going to finish the job by giving this the old tap-taparoo. Sorry for shaking you. Just hope I don't knock you over. That was a solid hit. We are installed as far as that will go. And I did slosh some gas around in the tank because I was curious. Basically, I want to find out if this is going to seal before I install it in the car. Oh. And then drop the tank on myself. That should be a great plan. So I've got some gas in the tank, and I'm sloshing it around the gasket surface area. And I don't know for 100% that new lock ring wasn't going to work, but I've seen enough from other folk out there that they're usually too thin. They don't put enough pressure on the rubber gasket, and you have a leak. So here we are. I don't see any liquid at all. It appears we do have a good seal. It's easier to do this with an empty tank, by the way. If I had to actually tell you that, though, I'm going to get this started on the J-bolt here. Maybe. It's like... 3 hands would be really good on this. All right, stay where you're at, buddy. The tank is roughly in position. I'm going to go ahead and start tightening the nut on the J-bolt and wiggle the tank around as needed just to make sure I'm in the good spot. This car definitely needs a full restoration, which hopefully one day, whether it's me or somebody else that does it, it's really not bad. Yeah, there's some flaky stuff in here, but there's no rot through in the trunk, in the wheel well, the floor that I found. Just some spots on the quarters. We're going to put the filler neck back in. 4 screws that hold that to the quarter panel. And then we're going to try and, see, I probably should have done this with another person's here. I left the tank a little bit loose, but not loose enough, it appears. We pause for this patriotic break. Okay, I'm gonna get crazy with the cheese whiz here and see if I can't finagle this in there. I may have to lower the tank back down a little bit, which sucks because I lowered the car. Well, that's what we're gonna have to do. I think I can get to the J-bolt. So I'll lower this a little bit. Hopefully that'll be enough. Hopefully you saw that. Probably not. Thanks to the leaf spring and my poor camera management. Trying to swing that tank out of the way enough to get this unit down in there. There we go. And I'm gonna get the vent to sneak by. There we go. I'm just trying to work that in there. We'll take a look at that down below before we tighten things up. Filler neck appears to be in a happy place. So at this point, I'll go ahead and get the tank exactly where it feels it wants to go and get things tightened down. Yeah, naturally. Gotta remember to switch the direction of your tool there before you start going ham. That's pretty darn snug. Tank does not move at all. Filler neck, still happy. And I'll throw this secondary nut on there as a jam nut. It was there when I took this apart, so we'll just put it back. We're gonna put the screws back in the rubber seal. We're going to attach the filler neck again to the quarter, and the tank will be ready to start running a fuel line. So it's a little bit low. I do believe I've got some random gear lube here somewhere, so I'll top that off. The angle of the dangle on a bottle, not so convenient. This will be most typical. Excuse me. Most typical of topping off your rear differentials. How inconvenient. Stop that. And we're full. And now clean up on aisle 5. I'm not going to pretend it's perfect, but I am going to pretend, well, no, pretend it is adequate. I'm gonna say that it's adequate. Tank is in. Fuel line ran. And I did reroute it slightly, if I remember correctly. It was supposed to go up under here somewhere, and I can't remember where it folded under the frame and followed that line down to miss the leaf spring. Yada, yada, yada. So I took a more direct path. I was satisfied with from middle to the front. And I already did replace the rubber section from line to fuel pump as well. Fuel filter replaced. I did a few things off camera, and I'm trying to remember what that all was. I've had the brakes all opened up at this point. I went through the front and cleaned everything. I have not replaced anything at this point. Everything, for the most part, looked good. I had Riley up high on the lift here and pushing the pedal, and we bled the brakes out. We've got fluid on all 4 corners. Seems to be, at this point, pretty air-free. But we still need to test drive it to make sure that we've made improvements. What the heck is this? There's some random J-hook, and I've honestly not seen that on any A-bodies before, so I'm wondering if somebody, well, I don't even know what. What are we doing with that? Is it some fashionable tow hook? It just seems weird. Let me know what you think that is, if you know. I've been through and greased all the Zerks I could find on the front end. Only the front U-joint had a grease fitting on it, so we greased that. Essentially curdled milk in the radiator. And you can see on the bottom now where something actually hit the tank, whether it was the lower support or whatever else, but it's creased that pretty good. Surprisingly not leaking here. Still leaking, you know, from somewhere around the lower hose. Could have been the tank, maybe somewhere behind the bracket, who knows. It leaked. It's full of garbage. It needs a complete refresh, if it's even salvageable. This one might go in the scrap pile. Well, she's pretty much a direct fit. 4 holes line up. The hoses are close enough. On the later ones, it looks like they did move the upper hose over just a little bit. Now, so much to do. So I wanted to get this seat out and pull up the old carpet and just make sure I get the floor cleaned up. Got all this stuff in here. Some of it's to this car, some of it's to something else, which we'll meet one day on my planet. On my planet. I almost said on my planet. And now I did. So on my channel, yeah, we're not quite there to where I can take this on a test drive. I should be able to get some gas in this thing tomorrow and at least run it on its own fuel system. A little bit of business to take care of on this thing still. This piece here, the bracket that holds the hood latch, also supports the grill down here and mounts at the bottom of the radiator support. I need one of those. I have one, but the mystery behind it is what the heck happened to it. Completely tore here on the bottom. Well, completely tore on the upper mounts as well. Seeing the bottom of the radiator support, I can kind of understand this one. It's definitely mangled. Maybe I'll just straighten that out and use it to some extent. But we need something in there to be able to latch the hood. So I'm looking for one of these. So that's where we're at, guys. It's dang close to being able to go out for a maiden voyage. Sorry we didn't get to drive it yet in this video, but I think right now I'll insert some previous footage so you know, if this is your first time seeing one of my videos or seeing one of the videos of this dart, that it does actually run and it does move under its own power. We'll take it for a burn here really soon. Stick around for the latest and greatest when we do actually get out on the road. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you enjoy getting old iron, and especially old Mopar iron, back on the road where it belongs, stick around. We'll continue to do that. We've got some other things that we need to get working on. Hopefully a cam swap coming soon in my 68 Dodge Charger. Hopefully some more drag racing in my other 67 Dodge Dart. And maybe something else. What's on the roof, kitty? Something is freaking on my roof. Anyway, if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber yet, please give that some consideration. I'd love to have you on board. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.